A lot of excitement, going into game 2, that we were able to get the win for the night. But, game 1, we have a whole bunch of other games that we need to focus about. So we call it the 24-hour rule. Time to turn the page and be able to worry about West Virginia.
The model that had been populated in June of 2021 with 12 teams, 6 of the highest-rated conference champions, and then 6 at-large bids. So it's all very similar.
Swung on, fly ball toward the gap, left center, well hit. On the run is Taylor on the track, and he plays the carom off the wall. Hitting third, coming home is Rosario. Ramirez is right behind him, and into second with a 2-run double off the base of the wall in left center.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Heck, we had Labor Day yesterday. We didn't have a show, so you get a deluxe version of sounds of the past
48 hours?
48,
72?
72, yeah. Just go to Corson wins it.
Man,
ding, 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 ding. Hey, welcome to the Tuesday show. Steve Webster with you. Mike Hesher. It's Mike and Mike in studio. I like that. They don't have to say Hesher and Corson during a promo, so it rolls off quicker.
Somebody suggested Mike and the Hesh, so if you want to go with that.
Who's someone?
He's a Trading Post.
Oh, you're Trading Post guy?
One of the Trading Post individuals. Yeah.
Okay, so you're building up your own crew again.
Yes,
yeah, see, that's right. All right, great weekend. Plenty of things to talk about on the show today. Cole Reif's going to be in. Talk about the K-Preps Bowl that is out just a little bit. Also, Friday Night Football. John Baetz will join us on the program, Kansas Pregame Magazine. And On the Prowl with Mike Hesher. You like that?
Except it's my segment, Steve.
You said me, not him.
Oh, okay.
It's Mike Corson.
All right, we're rusty, man.
He's the Hesh, I'm Mike.
Okay, yeah. So On the Prowl with Mike Corson. Did that sound better?
Yes.
You even got the growl.
Yeah, you're getting better.
Shelly Duval and Valarie Luna talking about Great Bend Panther volleyball today. So a lot of things to get to. You ready to get the sounds of the past 24 or the past 70, 48, 72 hours? Habba, here we go. Aaron Beck, big plays cost the Panthers on Friday night. Panthers lose their opener to McPherson 44-27. Panthers fell behind 20-0, and then McPherson kind of held them at arm's length the rest of the way. I think there's probably more positives than negatives in this. Pretty good day for Cody Miller, rushed for 127 yards, 20 carries. Caden Sharman, 141 yards through the air, did have a couple picks, and he ran for 84 yards. And Braylon Campbell, they try to defend him. He still got 7 passes for 94 yards. Panthers host Hayes High on Friday.
I like the 27 points. We knew McPherson was going to be a juggernaut on offense, so the 27, you're not going to see McPherson every night. I just watched Hayes. They're a two-man show, so I don't know that they'll get 44 points. So if Great Bend's scoring 27, should be competitive.
Yep, that's Friday night at Memorial Stadium. You were at Lewis Field Stadium on Friday night. Hayes High falls behind to Junction City and then reels them in, passes them, and comes up with a win, 33-21.
Junction City played some sloppy football, but between the quarterback and running back for Hayes, I think they had about 400 yards on the ground. Defense stepped up, and there was your turnaround.
Where are you headed this week?
Got the Panthers and Indians.
All right, good deal. Okay, we'll get all kinds of first-hand reports. Where are you going Friday?
Probably here.
Yeah, okay.
To the station. Make sure everything airs.
There's a lot of moving parts on Friday night. Yes, there is. Okay, Zach Baird, his team falls to Heston, 21-14. We'll talk about that game with Cole Reif coming up in our next segment. Man, Tad Remy, Larned Indians.
Ouch.
I will say this to make Larned fans feel a little bit better. The junior varsity Larned team last night fell behind Pratt 20-0. Pratt was driving, and then Larned got a turnover, scored right before the end of the first half, and they came all the way back and beat Pratt in the JV game.
Did they really?
That wasn't the case in the varsity. 67-0. It was 60-0 at halftime, and no resistance against the Greenbacks. So it'll be Larned against Lions on Friday night.
And Pratt's one of those schools. For a while they were really good, and then a couple of years they were really bad. So maybe that score indicates they're back on the really good side. You just never know with Pratt.
Oh, you always know.
They recruit from Skyline. They recruit from Skyline, right?
Well, see, Skyline's like a prep school. You've got to have a high ACT score to go to school there. So sometimes, they want to stay at Skyline so they can keep the high academic standards in place.
So they recruit.
Yeah, we do.
That's the bottom line, I think, yes.
Yeah, we go all the way to Belvedere to find players at Skyline, man, down there where the guys wear cowboy boots and cowboy hats all day long. Okay, college football. Wyatt Thompson on Learfield Sports. Malik Knowles takes it to the house. First play of the game, Kansas State works over South Dakota 34-0. Key block thrown by All-American running back Deuce Vaughn. He later scored on a 39-yard TD run. You heard him talk about that. Gave him a spark. Started the first play of the game. They host Missouri on Saturday.
Want to be optimistic, but when L. Roberson and Michael Bishop were playing, we would see 66-0, 77-0, 34-0 is a little frightening. My Colorado kid, Jake Rubley, got in, completed all 4 of his passes. So he's going to give some Adrian Martinez some competition.
They kind of had the bridle on Adrian Martinez.
The kid can run. Colin Klein was exceptional to watch, so I hope Martinez gives Deuce something else to look at in the backfield.
So you wanted 62-0.
Well, I saw that KU score from the high school scores Friday night, 56 points.
Scoff. There he is again.
I want my Wildcats to score at least as many as KU.
You've got to feel good for KU. This would have been a 14-10 game had they won it. They may have lost it by a score of 14-10 in past years. Significant strides from they've got some nice transfers, man. Their defense didn't look like KU's defense that we've seen for a long time.
Yeah, among the cupcakes, I don't know which one's the sweetest. So you don't know if K-State's schedule's tougher or Nebraska's schedule's tougher, but Nebraska was hanging in at 7-7. So the fact that KU wins by 46 points, that's...
Nebraska fans are all down, but, North Dakota, man, that's a...
Yeah, but it
and
used to be
Nebraska got an interception.
Yeah.
Former Hoisington kid got an interception in that game. Almost scored. I saw it on the Twitter machine.
No, that's the tweeter machine.
The tweeter machine. Sorry, I forget.
Lance Leipold saying, we expected to win this game. We expected to win by this margin. That's what he is. And Lance Leipold's being... He's the early rumor for the head coach of Nebraska. I'm dead serious. After Scott Frost's buyout here in about 5 weeks is cut in half. Just giving you the latest out there. Jalen Daniels, he was sharp. He was like 14 of 15 at one point in that game.
Is there sports betting going on? Can we bet on this one with Webby?
We'll have the lines later.
Okay, all right. Just thank you.
I cut the stickers out around the dumpster so you can get out in your bare feet to place your bet out at the dumpster now, so you don't have to worry about that.
I bet my shoes last week.
K-State, or KU, taking on West Virginia. Shock the world time. Shock the world.
Yeah, week 1's a warm-up, so now we'll get into some real games and see where everybody stands.
14.5 months after haggling over details and questioning motivations, a plan to expand the college football playoff to 12 teams finally approved on Friday. That was ESPN college football writer Pete Thamel.
The NCAA is not going to know what to do without the 4 blue bloods in there. You'll have to rewrite the books.
Oh, they'll be in there. It's going to be the same thing. They won't get one of the first-round buys.
I don't think the NCAA is going to be involved, though. I think they're going to break out from the NCAA.
It's fair to let more teams in, but it is also a money grab. I mean,
that's all it is. Sure.
Well, of course it is. It's professional football level 2.
I tell you, watching the first week, it was really disheartening to hear how many kids transferred in the off season. There's the magic of watching college football growing up was that you could get used to a program. At first it was basketball, and now football is probably even worse.
Yeah, but when you go and get your Deuce Vaughn jersey now, you can know that a portion of what you're paying goes directly to Deuce.
I did hear name, image, likeness ad on the radio this weekend, and I was shocked at the
this
direct.
all starts
Shocked or disgust?
Hey, you got to keep up with the Joneses. I think Alabama has a few Joneses.
This all started with free agency in baseball years ago.
It goes back to that.
goes way back. I mean, Kurt Flood, I believe it was like, oh, let's try this.
Kurt Flood's deal. Right?
Yes, it's all his fault.
All right, I'll buy that. And Tom Hamilton, the call on WTAM in Cleveland last night. Oscar Gonzalez doubled, scoring 2. Cleveland takes the lead in the 10th, 6-4. They ended up winning the game by the score of 6-5. We have to put Royals in there. We carry them. By the way, Kansas City Royals baseball tonight coming your way at 6:30. Game 2 of a 3-game series with the Cleveland Guardians.
I tell you, I was telling the Hesh this morning, Salvi drives in a game tying run, I think in the bottom of the 8th, opens up the bottom of the ninth, or top of the 9th. Witt goes over the line, foul territory, hops up, throws a liner over to first base, full stretch, gets him by a quarter step. All the momentum is blue, and then they get beat in extra innings.
Carlos Hernandez comes in and gives it all up in the 10th, I believe.
At least Tom Hamilton didn't scream.
He's the best. Don't come in here and dog Tom Hamilton.
Home run in the first inning. It's the best game of all time.
Well, what's he supposed to do? He hits it out of the park.
Give me some
You've been listening to me Kansas City Royals games the last few years.
I need to go back to 2015.
Swinging a home run.
Don't be bad-mouthing Denny. Come on now.
What, he's 53 years doing Kansas City Royals baseball as a Hall of Famer? No.
And he does it in his pajamas.
And his moccasins. And his moccasins. Okay, sports headlines today. Chris Kleiman adds another local football prospect for the 2023 recruiting class. Are you out, Mike? Yeah, we've got a rather big press conference going on down at the KBI.
Yes.
Yeah, the Dolly Madison murder. So go to GreatBendPost.com. You can find out the latest there. Jordan Allen, 3-star defensive. You can sit at the big table, Patrick, if you want to. As long as you're not going to correct anything that we said that was wrong, that comes up later in the briefing. Jordan Allen, 3-star defensive end from Olathe South, heading to K-State. And a poll of 100 coaches ranking KU's Allen Fieldhouse as the best basketball atmosphere.
I saw that. Better than Cameron Indoor?
It was.
Okay.
Beating Cameron was second. Gonzaga's McCarthy Athletic Center. I
take it Bramlett's Coliseum
third.
wasn't in the top 100.
I didn't dig that deep.
Okay, right.
Purdue's Mackey Arena, the elevated court, is 4. Arizona's McHale Center tied for 4th with Mackey Arena. Kentucky's Rupp Arena and Assembly Hall, Indiana. I don't know. Wichita State's Koch Arena and Michigan State's Breslin Center in a tie for 8th.
I didn't hear CU Event Center either in Boulder when they get 1,800 for a.
It's one of the best. It's one of the best venues in college basketball when they play KU there.
Well, when they play or U of A, I went to a couple of University of Arizona games. The place was rocking.
Not so,
but
with Colorado fans, I mean, it's rocking with KU fans.
Well, that's the same way with Arizona.
Patrick Burnett, you didn't have to sit over in the corner. You got 4 mics here. What's going on, my friend?
I was looking at the massive Kansas City Royals helmet, and I was thinking about putting it on and just sitting here and shaking my head because I think I would look like a human bobblehead.
Of course, I did it the other day. So yeah. Okay, so nobody saw it though because we had technical difficulties on Friday.
Well, go ahead and grab that thing, put it on.
Well, now I'm scared. I'm scared of who all's had it. I'm scared of who all's head it's been on. That's what I'm afraid of. Cooties, man. Cooties.
Oh, come on, grab the helmet. Just come on, put it on.
I ain't putting it on, though.
It will fit. If it doesn't, then
if it doesn't fit, you got issues. That is a big helmet. All I can think of.
Basically, he's throwing you out because saying you and Corson have cooties.
That's fine.
I think I see something moving inside.
I didn't wear it.
So, it was sitting by the Mahomes Crunch. Those are Weevils, Patrick.
Oh.
There's still breakfast food in that.
Just think, though, if you were getting, like, stadium nachos
I was thinking ice cream. That is a lot of nachos, yes.
I mean.
Can you imagine?
That's like a family pack right there.
I don't think you could fill that with nachos and put enough cheese in it. You'd have cheese for the first couple rows, and then they'd be dry.
You'd have to layer the. Layer the cheese.
Okay. Make sure you tell
that's for those of you. Look at this thing, guys. Look, it's massive.
That's like a section, not just a family. That's a section. Nachos.
You can see the big helmet later on GreatBendPost.com and on the KVGB YouTube channel. Yes, indeed. Okay. Anything else, Pat?
That's it for this segment, y'all. We'll be back with more after this.
Coming up, Cole Reif, Sports Day here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
One of the great advantages about online classes is you can take them anywhere. I would sit in my room, still in my robe from waking up, and I just try to focus on my classes. From Barton, I kind of took a range of classes from accounting, history, and I took PE1 and PE2 through Barton. They transferred pretty incredible. It helped save money, and it helped save some time, too. Just to think that you can live really anywhere and take these classes, I think it's pretty cool.
What's better than getting a new iPhone? Also getting an Apple Watch on us with 1 month free service. You heard that right. At Next Tech Wireless, you can get an Apple Watch on us with a month of free cellular service when you buy a new iPhone. Come visit us at a location near you or call or text at 877-621-2600 for more information. Next Tech Wireless. We are Kansas.
Hey, hunters, do you have everything you need for the fall hunting season? If not, then head to P&S Security for the shells, cases, decoys, and everything else you'll need. If it's time to upgrade to a new rifle, shotgun, or bow, P&S has it. And they sell hunting licenses and stamps. P&S has a good selection of gun safes, too. So head out west to P&S, a division of P&S Electric, 1/2 mile west of 10th and Patton Road, Great Bend.
Are you looking for a fun and rewarding full or part-time career? Can you imagine having the evenings, weekends, and summers off? Many Kansas school nutrition programs are seeking individuals who enjoy giving back to their community and helping children build their future. A wide variety of immediate positions are available nearby. Contact your local school district or food service director for more information on current positions available. Don't hesitate. Call today. Brought to you by the Kansas Department of Education and this station.
He's the voice of Hoisington High School football, the Barton County Cougars, and the king of the tweeter machine. It's Cole Reif on Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
I just imagine you in a bull ring.
Yeah.
You know, with your little beret and your knickers and your red cape, getting ready to take on the bull in bullfighter.
Oh man, I mean, you see Mets games now, like everyone has like a plastic trumpet and they're playing, like it's nuts. So that's why I try to hype it up for them.
All right, here we go. Tuesday, even though of course it's one of those days that seems like a Monday, but heck, we're almost halfway to another Friday night of football, and a lot of things to talk about today. Let's go ahead and start with the Hoisington game first. 21-14. I always like to ask you the day of the game, because that's, as a play-by-play guy, that's kind of when you've talked to the coaches, you've looked at the video, you kind of looked at some of the stats, and maybe some of the things that you thought you knew you didn't know as well, or things that, and you didn't have a good feeling, but it turned out 21-14, tough loss for the Cardinals against a Heston team that's pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to try to go out and say, Heston's going to be one of the top teams in Class 3A. We'll see a lot with they have a matchup with Pratt here this Friday night. So I think that'll kind of gauge. But they're good. I mean, especially for matching 2A, 3A up. You knew that they probably had the two best skill players in Jake Proctor outside, and then their quarterback, Hudson Ferralis, who threw for 241 yards and a couple touchdowns. So you knew those are going to be really, really tough. But I thought, all considering, Hoisington, a lot of mistakes, a lot of missed tackles. It was right there. So, I think I left Heston Friday night feeling like, yeah, you would like to go out and, yeah, we didn't play well, but we still found a way to win. That wasn't the case. But I left Heston thinking, especially after what we saw last year and getting pounded by Pratt in week 1, and they won 8 straight games, I think they have a chance to be very, very similar to last year in that they're going to have to build up. It's not the dominant team that we've seen in the years past where they start out the year, ranked number 1 or number 2 in the state. This is a team that's got to work for it. This team that's got to get better. But I think they have the same type of personnel, and maybe even more so experience that they had last year that they can build up and get to the end of the year. You know, they obviously ended earlier than they wanted last year in the playoffs, but they can still get to that point where they're capable of being a threat in Class 2A.
And you had a quarterback who's making his first start at quarterback.
Yeah, Tony, I mean, you saw a pretty big run from him in that first quarter, and that was the weird thing that I felt like Hoisington dominated the first half. And then you look at the scoreboard and it's 14-14 at halftime. You're like, well, I really felt like it probably should have been 14-0. They had 2 passes, Heston did. That was the really biggest difference in that first half. But yeah, Tony Moore, I thought he did a pretty good job. There really weren't a ton of bad exchanges, whether he was out of the gun or under center. That was pretty smooth for the most part. I can recall 1, maybe 2 bad snaps for week 1. That was a blessing. And he had a couple nice runs, and I thought he had a decent amount of pretty good reads. So I think that'll obviously improve. But yeah, I was pretty pleased with Tony at quarterback for the first game.
Do you see the playbook expanding to include him in a lot of different ways?
Well, and I think he's already been exposed to a decent amount of new wrinkles compared to any other quarterback has had for Hoisington, especially at week 1, going into week 1. You can talk about guys that matured by their senior year, like Mason Haxton. He probably had a lot under his belt a couple of years ago when he was starting out his senior year. But for a guy that was his first start at QB at the varsity level, I think Tony Moore has a lot on his plate already, just because he is your best ball handler, I mean, if you will, in football terms. So, like, he's the guy you want to have the ball the most. So he has a lot of different wrinkles. Now, I don't think you saw them all Friday night, but I think he's already got some in the back of his head.
I was working Friday night, but I did get to see some of the highlights. Leighton Haxton had a pretty good catch in the end zone, didn't he?
Yeah, it was even nicer when I saw the replay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice in live motion, but it was even nicer when I saw the replay because, he tapped that one up to himself and just kept it right in front of him, and then he took a shot right at the goal line and was able to hold on to the football. So, yeah, that was a pretty nice catch.
Defensively, what'd you think?
Missed tackles. Missed tackles was the biggest issue. And then I think the thing that disappointed me and the difference to me in the game, especially in that first half, was the air raid of Ferralis. You knew he was going to be able to throw the ball, but there was just a couple of times they just got behind him, and it's just like, speed is speed, but he's like, man, you got to keep somebody in front of you, and they got behind. And then there's another one where it was a 50-50 ball, but Hoisington's defender never located the ball. I mean, like, he could have ran a circle around the receiver. It was Proctor, but Proctor is the only one looking for the ball. Grabbed it. He turns around. He can easily knock it down, potentially even intercept it. And that was a big one because I think that was a third down play, and it went for 40 yards, and eventually they scored on the next play or two. So that was the disappointment there. But, yeah, overall, I mean, a week 1 matchup with Heston, a pretty good team. I wasn't that disappointed in a 21-14 loss.
21-14, some other plays he comes down to like that. There's, 3 or 4, maybe 5 plays, some other plays that were big in that game.
Well, the things that kind of shot themselves in the foot, you talk about mistakes, they had about 5 penalties. They had 5 penalties in that game, but it just seemed like all of them were huge. They were like either offensively or defensively. Heston would have a 3rd and 3 offsides, encroachment. Make them work for it. At least make them snap it and see if they can get that 3 yards. Hoisington had a 4th and 1. False start. Scooted them back, 4th and 6. I think that was eventually Haxton converted on that 4th and 6 and on a 28-yard strike from Moore. But they had another one. It was like 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, false start. Scooted them back, and then eventually, stalled out the drive. So those types of mistakes I thought were pretty big. And then just the air attack of Ferralis, and that there were drives that should have come to an end for Heston that weren't going anywhere. But then what do? Worst comes to worst, and you got a 6'4" guy, and, even Jackson Fry was really good. You just throw it up and you make a play. Like those drives, when you get them in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, like, okay, those should come to an end. And they just continued, and that was the difference. Although that second half was, mistake-filled for both teams, but only 7 points were scored in that second half. I mean, Hoisington was shut out in the final 2 quarters. Heston put up 1 midway through the 3rd quarter, and then the final, 15, 16 minutes were scoreless. So it was a good game from the score standpoint, for fans to watch, but there were a lot of mistakes in that game.
Okay, good crowd?
Great crowd. I mean, Hoisington fans didn't show up until about 5 minutes before kickoff. I assume they were listening to the pregame show in their cars or online on their phones. But Heston was packed. It was packed. And I remember that was a playoff game last time we were there, so you would assume it would be a good crowd. But it was about the same. It was a really good crowd. And I will say, and we were talking about broadcasting angry and getting after those Swather fans, in the stands, because we were at the top of the stands. I couldn't, because at the end of the ball game, there was a mom that came up to me after, Heston had won 21-14. She said, "Hey, I know you're the opponent's broadcaster, but we really enjoyed listening." I was like, I can't be mad at these guys anymore.
So they weren't turning around and giving you those snarky looks.
They weren't, and it was a tight game. No one led by more than 7 the whole game, and no snarky looks.
Wow.
Yeah. So and then after she came up and said that, I was like, all right, I guess we're friends now. I mean, we're friends.
Well, good. So you go into the game with a clear mind. You didn't carry it in from
No.
Okay.
No.
Talking about playing hurt, Dr. Blake Harris back on the radio, and I know Blake got a little bit tired, but man, there he was grinding it out. Great to have you guys back on.
It was awesome having him back on the air, and just his insight and his wisdom to Hoisington athletics is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, exactly. Hoiston, do they have a Hall of Fame over there? Yes.
I talked to Joel Mason about that, potentially, because, they got Kimball that was going. They named the track after him. He's in Acacia Hall of Fame. It's like, Hoistington High School should have a Hall of Fame. He's like, that's a pretty good idea. But if that does happen, Blake will be at the top of the list.
All right, Friday night, what's up?
Halstead. In Halstead, they had a rough season last year. They went 2-7, didn't make the playoffs for the first time in a long time. They bring back some decent pieces. I mean, I think Hoisington goes in favored by all means, but a new head coach, Derek Brissett, comes over, first-year coach in a long time for Halstead, because they had an 8-year coach in Grider.
Yeah.
He's now down at Bethel. There's going to be some new wrinkles there, but they still run flexible on offense. And Tucker Devine at quarterback. Skylar Gear had a really good game Friday night in their win against Smoky Valley. And I don't know what Smoky Valley has, but that was a whale of a game. I mean, they won 42-40. 22 points in the fourth quarter scored by Halstead to win that game. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. But first, I guess the season home opener for Hoisington this Friday night.
How about Ellenwood, huh?
How about? That's a lot of points.
53-0, and it's going to be one of those that and we're going to have Ellenwood's coach on tomorrow, so that'll be good. But that everybody's saying, well, they haven't had any success, and they're going to have those. But this group that he's got coming through has had some success. It'll be fun to watch.
Just had to wait their turn, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So looking forward to seeing Ellenwood and talking Eagle football tomorrow. Okay, I guess look at 2A, big shocker, Ellsworth.
Wow.
Comes up and gets the win over Beloit. Not that I said that I was very impressed with Ellsworth at the Larned Jamboree. Now, I don't know if it was going to turn into a win over Beloit. So more Ellsworth, or maybe not as much Beloit as we thought?
I would say there's some disappointment on the Beloit side.
I heard that. Sure. The 2 running backs didn't play.
Okay, Vincent Barron was still out?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, and that's why, imagine going in, you never know who's going to be in, who's going to be out. But I think still really impressed with Ellsworth. And man, hats off to Josh Homolka. I actually tweeted out, you talk about the tweeter machine.
The tweeter machine,
yeah. Well, Wyatt Pettigo, our boy Wyatt Pettigo, scored or had an interception against Nebraska this Saturday. And I tweeted out the video of him returning a pick 6 in 2019 against Ellsworth. And Josh Homolka got a hold of that. He's like, come on, man. And but, I said, hey, heck of a win Friday night. And I hats off to him, and really happy for him in a signature win early on. It doesn't matter. I don't think it really matters that who Beloit had or who they didn't have. I mean, that's a really big win to hold them to 6 points. That's phenomenal. So hats off to Ellsworth.
What do you get out of Pratt 67, Larned nothing?
That Pratt has probably figured out, and even though they lost a few key pieces, they brought back a decent amount, and Pratt is more solidified in that single wing. So another year of experience of just figuring out their offense, which is going to be powerful. And then, what happened, Larned? I mean that's got to be the case. And I mean, maybe the coaching staff said, hey, we got a lot of things to work on. We're not very good at this point. But to get beat 67-0, that's rough. Now, and Hoisington got blasted by Pratt last year. I mean, I'm not trying to room to talk, but yeah, that was a head scratcher to me that. Pratt winning, sure. And I think if we're being real, I would have probably spotted Pratt 21, 27, 28 points. But, 67, that's a lot.
They've got a big game. They take on Lions, who was shut out on Friday night 28-0. So,
yeah, you got to have that one.
You need to get that. We'll find out a lot in that game coming up. Anything else you take from week one?
You know, there were a lot of good games throughout the entire state, different classifications. I mean, you talk about, and there were good matchups, too. It wasn't like huge surprises, but like Derby. You know, Derby going down. I mean, there's some other big games.
How about Olpe and Topeka Hayden?
Yeah, and Olpe gave them a run.
Yeah.
And then, you know, even like southeast of Saline, hooking up a Rock Creek in the first week, and that was a really, really good game.
Rock Creek gave me a good game too.
Yeah, so I mean, there were just a lot of good matchups in week one. But yeah, I mean, I think 2A, that Ellsworth win against Beloit, no matter what Beloit had out there, was really, you know, caught my eye.
Kingman over Cheney.
I knew Cheney was going to be down a little bit, but for
to
Kingman,
go in there and actually do it.
Yeah,
you know?
to get over that hump.
Yeah.
You know, and Kingman, I think Kingman solidified themselves as the top team, in my mind, on the west side. Well, okay, I shouldn't say that. Behind Southeast Saline. I keep forgetting Southeast Saline. But yeah, Kingman's right behind them.
And you guys, and Cole Reif, who does vote on the K-Preps high school football poll, which is out, you guys just couldn't stay away from Silver Lake, did you? They're back.
I did not vote them in, if you want to know my vote.
They're back at number 5.
I am a big fan of rewarding a team that knocked off one of the ranked teams early on. Now, do you think Ellsworth is better than Silver Lake? Maybe not, but it was Ellsworth that knocked off one of the top 5 teams. Let the season sort it out. If Ellsworth drops a game next week or 2 weeks, then you can take him out. But at the moment, I think that should carry some extra weight that they knocked off one of the ranked teams in week 1. I voted Ellsworth at number 5. I did not put Silver Lake in there.
Did you think from Norton's win over Plainville?
No, I knew Plainville was going to be down. I mean, Norton's going to be okay. I mean, Sean Anderson back for his senior year. But, yeah, I knew Plainville was going to be down, so no.
Anything significant from the first week of the poll, Mr. Pollster?
Well, 2A got shuffled around. You know, Rossville goes down.
Yes, very.
So the East is starting to get mixed up.
Is there a new war on 24 now?
You know, maybe Silver Lake's starting to.
That's a pretty good line of football schools when you have you have Rossville, and then you have St. Mary over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then right there is your boys Silver Lake.
Yeah, I mean, and then obviously with
3 cool football stadiums too, by the way. If you go through there,
very cool. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, historic. But then even if you go 6A, Derby. I mean, 6A top 5 got shuffled around. Some of them just dropped a few spots, but Manhattan getting that win, that pushes them into the mix. But yeah, everyone got shuffled around a little bit.
Yeah, and how about Carroll coming back from a halftime deficit? I guess I'm stealing Baetz' thunder here. So okay, Chiefs coming up here. Now it's 18 games, right? What we've got to do. So what?
Well, 17.
17. Okay, all right.
With
17, 8th week. Okay. So what's the record?
Oh, we're making predictions now.
Well, might as well. The season starts right now. Well, write it down.
I'm giving you a lot of hard time about this, where you always go one up me or one down me on the record. So.
Okay, wait a second.
You go first, and then I'll one up you.
No, that's not the way we do it. We write it down a signal. Okay, let's see. We got 13.
Got it.
Okay. This is it right here.
Where's
yours at?
12-5. Okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay,
13-4.
It was done legally.
Okay.
Do we ask Mizunas? Nah, he won't be listening today, so... Well, he won't get his picks in, so he won't even have them.
No, he's not in.
He missed his show.
He'll text it in.
Okay, 13-4. Kansas, 56. Tennessee Tech, 10. And you know what the rumor is out there right now up in Cornhusker land? Scott Frost's buyout goes down, like in half, I think it's week 6. And they're already starting to circulate names up there. You know one of the names they're circulating right now? Lance Leipold. The Husker fans have and Urban Meyer, of course.
Okay. I mean, it was a nice win. Felt pretty good, right? And I will give credit to the crowd at KU.
34,000?
That was a decent-looking crowd. I mean, you've seen some bad ones. I think UCLA got blasted this week because their crowd was god-awful at their ball game this weekend. So, yeah, KU was not one of those getting ragged on for crowd attendance.
The only thing is that when Mangino was in there, because I've always said this about KU and K-State fans. K-State fans still haven't got it down what it's like to be a good basketball crowd.
Mm-hmm.
KU fans have no idea what it's like to be a good football crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll probably continue.
But there were, I mean, you talk about good, or what's your definition of a good basketball crowd? Because K-State, there were a couple years in there, like with Michael Beasley and Jacob Poland, that they had crowds.
But they, I mean, come on, ump. That's one. And you don't sit there and say, do the feedlot yell, BS, 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 stuff like that. That's what KU did in football when they were doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess K-State does a similar cheer, but it starts with the letter F, and it ends with KU.
Oh, well, that's a...
Yeah.
See, they thought of that.
Which doesn't make any sense to me at a football game why KU's on your mind. What do they call that, living rent-free?
Well, should you judge your program?
Yeah, I was like, what are we doing here, K-State?
Yeah, so that was good, and it was good to see, some local Kansas talent. Unfortunately,
wow, man, it really shined. You talk about even listening to the Fort Hays game. We know about all those guys. I heard Perez in on a few plays.
Oh, yeah.
Schramer was out there, obviously. Miles Mingus is a stud at Fort Hays now.
Remember when he signed?
Yeah.
And I kind of said, well, okay, that's nice. I wonder, okay, well,
where are they
good.
going to put him? Yeah. Exactly.
He's 6'4", 235-pound defensive end.
That was a quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's nuts. And then, Wyatt Pettigo getting some playing time and then getting the nice highlights at Nebraska. And at that time, it was a 7-point game when he picked that off and returned it to close to the 15-yard line. There's just a lot of area talent. I know there's a kid out of Linden that is a tight end for Alabama. And he caught a catch, or he made a catch. And, there's just a lot of talent that was really highlighted this week. It was pretty cool.
Man, I'm infringing on Baetz's time here, so we better go. Cole, thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you next week. Have a good Cole Friday. Okay, Cole Reif here on Sports Day.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
Hi, my name is Dalton Jones, a patient that I helped. She came in with chronic back pain that she'd been having for years. After several weeks of showing her exercises, several different interventions, we were able to get her back to where she can do her shopping without leaning on the shopping cart at all.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Maybe you've read the Bobbsey Twins, or watched the Olsen Twins, or boogied to the Gibb Twins. But here in Kansas, we have our very own pair of famous twins, Sam Brownback and Derek Schmidt, two politicians whose records are almost identical. When Sam Brownback cut millions from Kansas schools, causing some schools to open only 4 days a week, Derek Schmidt wasted millions of your tax dollars to defend Brownback in court. When Brownback ran up disastrous budget deficits, Schmidt said Brownback had, quote, delivered time and again for Kansas. And when Brownback refused to expand CanCare, denying critical funding to rural hospitals across Kansas, Schmidt agreed. Derek Schmidt and Sam Brownback. Kansas can't tell these twins apart. But you can tell Derek Schmidt to commit to stop supporting Sam Brownback's policies. Call Derek Schmidt at 785-296-2215. Paid for by Kansas Values Institute.
From the Mail Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington. It's high school football time in the Golden Belt. And to help us figure it all out, Sports Day presents Kansas pregame magazine publisher John Baetz. It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB.
Indeed, John Baetz is with us. I love Tuesdays, all this high school football talk. John Baetz loves it more than anybody else, the publisher of Kansas Pregame Magazine, who was probably glued to all kinds of media sources on Friday. John, great to have you on the show again.
Well, thank you very much. And yes, it's I actually went and watched Lincoln and Sylvan on Friday night, which was a very long game because there was a ton of first half hankies. But I am in the back of my pickup. I'm watching the game, and I got my phone, and I'm shuffling back. I mean, you can watch so many games. I'm watching Smith Center in Phillipsburg, and I'm watching highlights of Derby in Manhattan, and then I get home and I can go back and I can watch I can watch games on my TV and on my laptop and on my phone. It's usually about midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm pretty well sick of high school football by that point. But
okay, takeaways from Friday night, because the early part of the season, you have preseason rankings, things like that, but no one knows for sure, and it'll continue through the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. But your takeaways from Friday, John?
Well, I think other than 5A, where Mill Valley to me looks like the best team all classes. Their defense, I watched some highlights, rewatched a lot of their game. Their defense is Hutch, Salt Hawk era, Randy Dreiling good. And then Mays, Avery Johnson looked like the real deal when they played on Saturday against Topeka. And I think those two teams, Mill Valley and Mays, are the best teams all classes. And Capon and Bishop Carroll at 3 and 4 in my rankings, those 4 teams might be the best teams in all classes. And then in 3A, Andale looks like a heavy favorite. But most of the rest of the classifications, I think there's some real parity, and there was some surprises. I thought Blue Valley Northwest looked really good for a team that graduated 15 seniors off of the best team they've had in history, and an incredible team that really manhandled Derby in the 6A championship game last year. They looked good against St. James Academy with Grant Stubblefield at the running back position. And, of course, Manhattan got a big win over Derby. But Derby will be okay. They just have a whole new offensive line and some things that they got to figure out. Not to take away from Manhattan. That's a great win for them. They had a great game plan in place. In 4A, the private schools, Aquinas, Miege, St. James, even with the loss, they're head and shoulders above the rest of the state. But McPherson looked good. Chanute looked good. In 2A, I think Southeast of Saline is outstanding. I watched basically the whole game against Rock Creek, and they have. We've been talking all off season about the Gephardt twins and Michael Murray, and those 3 are legit. Luke Gephardt, the quarterback, is really, really good. But they have several other weapons. There's a Friesen kid and Landon Allen. Backup quarterback had to come in a little bit because the Gephardt kid got cramps, and he played really well, ran for a long touchdown. I think that they are very, very good. But Nemaha Central's good, too, and Rossville's not bad. St. Mary's is outstanding and probably might be the best team in 1A. They rolled up 400 yards of offense against Rossville. So that's a few takeaways from the 11-man ranks. But is there any other specific areas you want to talk about?
Well, I guess first of all, you mentioned the private schools in 4A. What do you think about this qualifier? Do you think it's going to get passed?
I'm not sure. I kind of anticipate it will. And then it's just going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out. Certainly, I think something should probably be done, and it's not even about football. I mean, it's the volleyball, the boys and girls basketball dominance, and hopefully the qualifier is the answer that maybe creates some parity there. I do think it's probably going to get passed, and then it'll be interesting how to see how that all shakes out over the next few years.
John Baetz, Kansas Pregame Magazine, with us today on the program. Individual highlights, anything really stand out for you?
Malik Baugh, Hayes High. Hayes High had a great win over Junction City. That's a very good 6A team. 270 yards rushing. Somebody that we were looking at coming in, junior running back, and everybody knows that they lose Jaron Canick, who got to play some this weekend for the University of Oklahoma, and Gavin Myers, who's at K-State, et cetera, et cetera. Tyrese Grown back there at the quarterback position. They look, I think they're as good of a team as they were last year. Malik Ball looked really good. Jet Vincent at Canton Galva, I think he accounted for like 500 yards of total offense because Garrett Maltby, their quarterback, their starting returning, would it be in his third year as a starter, got hurt in the Jamboree, and he's going to miss the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season. Jet Vincent comes in from Wheatland, takes over the quarterback position there in a time of need, and they beat Little River by 30 points. I think everybody needs to backpedal on the overreaction.
Yeah.
Little River's still going to be right at the top of 8-man one at the end of this. The question mark, I think, Axtell and Canton Galva are on a certain collision course, likely in the semifinals on the east side of the playoff bracket, and it'll be interesting to see if Axtell can hold up against Canton Galva with the power that they have.
Okay, John Baetz with us, and this is kind of goes. I know you love KU, so I'm going to use their 56-10 game, and then I'm going to use that Ellenwood winning a game on Friday night 53-0. Okay, they haven't had a lot of success, but they do that, and we'll have Brett Stent on tomorrow. That's a group that they've played together in little kids football, junior high, and now they're coming up. I'm kind of interested in what they're doing, and Syracuse isn't very good, but in the past they may not even won that game. They won it 53-0. Now they get Douglas.
And also, their last 2 years' schedule was, without a doubt, the best, the toughest, hardest schedule of any team in any classification in the state of Kansas. And the second closest is probably not even that close. They're a team that I have kind of kept an eye on as well, and have talked to their coaches over the last couple of years. And I have gotten to know Brett Stent a little bit because he's from Belleville originally, played for former Smith Center grad Andy Gwinnett for a season there, and then worked with Sharp Performance for a couple of seasons before he went. I think he's the one. There's two Stent brothers, and one of them went out to Wyoming and walked on, and then transferred to KU and played there. And he's a kid that I've got some respect for, and I think that's, of course, we know with what they've done on the basketball court that there's some athletes there and that kind of thing. So it's fun to see them start the season on a high note.
Okay, John, one more before I let you go. Thoughts on Victoria and La Crosse coming up on Friday? We'll have John Webster on the show on Thursday.
I think that's going to be a good game. Victoria, I say this every year, but Victoria anymore. Now, in my day, Victoria had a lot of big kids, and they were an outstanding 11-man program. But for what seems like the last 10 years, Victoria, great program, but they got a bunch of 5'5" kids. And those 5'5" kids run around and they want to bite through your shin bone. I mean, they're just they're so aggressive. They're so physical. I was at a game one time, and there was a mom from Victoria, and her son was running out and she grabbed him by the pads and said, "You go out there and knock somebody's head off." That's Victoria, man. They love to play football. But La Crosse, I think, Morgan and Burke, they've got quite a few weapons still, and I think John Webster's a great coach. I think it has the potential to be a good game.
The officials are going to do that game. There'll be more ear chewing in that game from both sidelines than any game in the state.
Well, and you got to watch out for Victoria fans throwing full beer cans at you too.
Well, that's just when it gets around Herzog Fests, okay? So...
Oh yeah, that's right.
John, great to talk to you. We'll hook up here very soon, and keep up the great work at Kansas pregame.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Okay, John Baetz joining us, the one and only here on the program. Man, good football talk today here on the program. Okay, Panther Prowl with Mike Corson coming up. We're going to talk Panther volleyball. Stay with us here on KVGB.
Hey, you want to hear some good news? Venture Corporation is still hiring for laborers, flaggers, equipment operators, CDL A and B drivers, and mechanics. And if you're ready to make some money, call Leslie at Venture. Thought about getting your CDL? Venture will train the right candidate. Higher starting wages, on-the-job training, excellent benefits, and you get paid for traveling throughout the state. Venture Corporation on South Highway 281 in Great Bend is an equal opportunity employer. Venture Corporation, homegrown, family-owned.
To be the king of the road, you have to fill with the king of diesels. We're talking about Cenex Premium Diesel. It comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn. Cenex Roadmaster XL even cleans up and prevents injector fouling to keep your trucks out of the shop and on the road. And typical number 2 diesel? That's always an option. The wrong option. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact the Great Bend Co-op Fuel Department, your certified Cenex distributor today.
I said chantilly lace and eggshell, not matte.
Colby's interior design consultancy is floored with new clients.
Wait, what am I looking at here? This looks like plaid.
They need an admin with an eye for design and a knack for numbers.
Okay, hey, Luke, take a look at this. Do those numbers look right?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Screen for quality candidates with the skills your role needs with Indeed Assessment. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Introducing Fidelity Income Planning. We look at how much you've saved, how much you'll need, and help you build a straightforward plan to generate income, even when you're not working. A plan that gives you the chance to grow your savings and create cash flow that lasts. Plus, you can start, stop, or adjust your plan at any time. Talk to us today so we can help you go from saving to living. Fidelity Brokerage Services, member NYSE, SIPC.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
And welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Mike Corson here today with Great Bend High School volleyball coach Shelly Duval. And today she's brought a player, that is senior Valarie Luna.
What's up?
We thought you were coming bearers of good news.
Hey, it's not bad news at all. It's not bad news at all.
So let's go back last Thursday. You guys got your season opener, 2 WAC teams. We knew Garden could be legit. And you guys go 1-1 with the loss to Garden and a win against Liberal.
Yeah.
Everything goes 3 sets. Coach, Garden's been a powerhouse. And first match of the season, things you liked?
Well, you know, they've going in, we knew that both teams had already played in a tournament the week before, and so we were going in our first night, and we knew Garden's always going to be tough. They got a good outside hitter in Piper, and so it was interesting to go up against them, but the WAC's going to be fun this year. It was intense the whole way through. Very, very tight matches against both Liberal and Garden. We all went 1-1, beating each other last night, so it'll be interesting to see.
And we had seen Garden scores the first week in 0-2, and yes, Garden's down, and then you find out it's Andale.
Yes.
It doesn't count.
Exactly.
And so you guys dropped the first set in both matches, but 27-25 loss in the third set, always tough to swallow against Garden?
You know, yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. Valor's like, yes. It always is, but I would say, you know, the way they played, the way our girls played, you can't be mad at it as a coach. They gave 100% all the way through, and but you never really want to lose that bad, but it was intense all the way up to the last point.
And then you guys are going to Riley County?
We do. We go to Riley County on Saturday, and we have Dodge tonight, so it'll be a full week of volleyball.
And that's head coach Shelly Duval. Now we'll talk to senior Valarie Luna. I'm a track and field guy. We know that she's a state placer in the high jump. How does that translate to what you're doing on the volleyball court?
Just the confidence and the commitment to each sport. That's all you really need.
And then you're a big blocker and also a big hitter, but I'm always fascinated. As a cameraman, I have no idea where the ball is going to go. What are you looking at when it comes to getting a good block down?
You got to read the hitters. Read the outside hand. You got to read them.
And what do you mean the outside hand? You're literally looking at somebody's hands as they're moving?
Yeah, you're looking at their left shoulder.
But how do you know where the setter's going to throw the ball or set the ball?
Hand placement.
Yeah, hand placement. We really worked really hard with the girls on being able to read what to do as far as when the setter's going up. Is it going to go out to the hitter or not? And Val's gotten really good as far as reading and how quick to move. Obviously, her lateral movement with track and field has benefited us a lot as far as her blocking skills.
And I'm not real hip to the volleyball rules. I know you guys move around. Is there a certain spot on the floor that benefits you best as a blocker?
The right corner. I go right all the time.
Yep. She loves hitting to the right side out of the middle. It's kind of her go-to area.
And then when you're blocking, it's not always just to put the ball right back down on the floor.
Correct.
What is your role on the team?
There's Coach Duval showed me 3 levels. We have 1 level where you just push all the way, 2 is medium, and 3 is just straight up.
And that's either to slow the ball down, or if maybe you are a dominant blocker, you can just put it straight back on them.
Right. We've kind of learned that, smaller hitters on the outside, Val likes to go the level 3 block, which is a higher straight-up block, because they like to try to hit the tops of her hands. And when we get those more aggressive hitters against her, we lower her blocking levels to about a level 2 and a level 1, which is really pushing those shoulders over the net. And we do that a lot with Val, and we've got some other girls coming up that can do the same thing, but her ability to put her face over the top of the net gives us the ability to be able to put her at level blocking.
And then likewise on offense, if, say, the defense has a good blocker, how fast are you able to kind of change where you're going to hit the ball when you're trying to hit?
Not going to lie, it does take me quite a few tries, but after like 1 or 2 balls, you get the hang of it. You'd rather to roll, cheap shot, just stuff like that.
Yep.
And Valarie, you've had lots of success track and field, 18 and 16 last year. Senior season, what is your goal for this year?
Compete, and
we
play confident, of course.
And we wish you luck. Dodge City tonight, big tournament in Riley County and Manhattan area on Saturday.
Yeah, and there's KSU game same day, so we'll...
Traffic ought to be fun for you.
Go Cats.
All right, good luck, Lady Panthers. Thank you, Valarie. Thank you, Shelly, and good luck.
Thank you.
More Sports Day after this.
This is Barton Community College Athletic Director Trevor Rolfs. The Barton Athletic Department is proud to sponsor Sports Day on KBGB, a show that showcases all of our high school student athletes in Central Kansas, some whom will continue their educational and athletic future with us here at Barton. We're excited about the fall sports season that is now underway and invite you to attend a game or a match and experience the rich tradition of Cougar athletics. For complete schedules and results, visit bartonsports.com.
Sports Day proudly presents
Hey, you! Get off my yard!
a look at what's bugging our grumpy old sports hosts.
An easy one today, just sitting around with Mike Hesher.
Well, if Jack Clark would have just caught that pop-up, they would have been fine. They would have won the 85 World Series.
Game 7. They couldn't even win Game 7.
It doesn't matter. They didn't have to. Don Beckinger blew the call.
He blew the call, yes. But if the St. Louis Cardinals were a good team, they would have won the game even if he blew the call. Okay. I think we
Hogwash.
figured it out.
Hogwash. Hogwash.
Grumpy old men.
Get off my yard. What do you got, Mike Hesher?
My God. Yes. Go ahead. I went last week. I
already gave you mine.
Oh, mine is the end of the Florida State football game. I think it was Florida State. That review took forever. And then they blocked the extra point. It was like, I wasted 10 minutes of my life watching them trying to decide on the review. I was like, get off my yard.
1.5, 2 minutes. Let's go.
If you can't decide it in 90 seconds, stays call on the field.
Get off my yard.
Get off my yard.
All right, tomorrow. Let's see. We have Brett Stent, head coach of the Ellenwood Eagles, on. Also Gerard Walbrock, voice of the Port State Tigers.
And the teacher will be gone again tomorrow. The kids are in charge.
Kids are in charge tomorrow. And let's see what else. Oh, yeah, Mike Corson talks with Chewy Loera. My God. Talk to you tomorrow.